ES. Jump out here to the monthly. And so you can see basically we're kind of rejecting off that equilibrium high, right? We got underneath that 37.75, where we called this area an equilibrium for, a while now, and we set in a little bit of rejection. This high is pretty weak to me. So I mean, if there is a rally like a stop and trap, then I think that will be that first target taken out. But so far we're coming back into balance, so kind of a little peak above balance and fail here on the monthly. But we haven't retreated too much back into the previous month, so we don't want to get catastrophic yet. On the weekly, we do have a cessation of one time framing. This is like we talked about yesterday. This is the first key that we're starting to possibly see some change, right? We had been one time framing up for 6 weeks, and now we broke this previous low that was kind of a weak low, right? We had these kind of equal lows, and so we'll kind of see the next low here is at 39.80, and then you had this open here at 40.26. So those two levels are both going to be key levels on a weekly basis to be paying attention to. Still, we have this gap above starting 42.08 half. Still haven't touched it. It's going to have to be monitored as well. Switching over to the daily now, you can kind of see we basically broke back below, this kind of fairly, I guess kind of steep uptrend, right? You draw this from here, right? We were maintaining a pretty steep uptrend on the way up. We broke below it. We started one time framing down. We switched to a 3-day balance, and then a big liquidation. The big liquidation pretty much started from the break of this day on the 11th, where we had seen the from the COT report, right? A lot of long money or larger money had gotten long, and we see them basically capitulate, or we could call it liquidate. But basically they just they called it a day, and they got out of the way, and let it kind of roll down. We did clean up this weak low here. There's still a little bit of a gap right here, and another little weak low here, and then another gap here below. So the first thing that we do when we break out of balance, right? So we were in that 3-day balance. The first thing we do is we want to monitor for continuation. Something I've always liked to do was take the high and the low range of it and kind of double it. So take this, get the drawing, double it down. And so you can see this low puts us back, basically towards kind of this weak low, still much above the gap. So if we imagine the inventory here, maybe has a little bit left, 40.72. We'll kind of see how that plays out. But so far, this week, the move yesterday was an unexpected or outside the expected range. So that's why I think maybe a little bit of the volatility got on. A lot of people got stuck buying the dip yesterday, I imagine. For I'm not sure why, but I think that's what happened, right? If they were trading the profile, right? It was pretty clear for us that we were in balance. We had broke balance. I think maybe people got stuck in this D pullback area, right? Mechanical D low kind of gave us a sign, and then also the D low or the D high couldn't even rally back towards the low of the previous day, couldn't get above the open, and then liquidated. So I think that's probably where they trapped a lot of people. Most of the people yesterday in our room were short from the 30, so we were pretty on track yesterday, and it seemed like a fairly easy day yesterday. My dad beat me on the ES again yesterday, right? Fucking 2 days in a row, good for him. Um, Like you said, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn. Looking into today, we've got overnight inventory pretty much 100% net long, right? His settle was down here 93. The last was 109 quarter, right? So a pretty big discrepancy between the settle and the last. And that's because of the Microsoft earnings yesterday. You guys didn't see them. Microsoft. Uh, Microsoft, if you look on, we'll just look at the 1 minute. You can see earnings came out. They started 275. They jumped up all the way above a previous gap that they had, and they just held it as support. And they're basically trying to open up right there as well near $300. So about a $25 jump. So pretty big jump. And then Google also had earnings yesterday. They had a nice big rip up, couldn't hold above that 109, and basically unchanged for the most part, trading back where they were at. Um, and so that's what kind of caused that big spike yesterday. At the end of the day, going into today, my first thought is, what do we do when we break out of balance? Well, we monitor for continuation, right? So naturally, if we have a nice position that we held from yesterday from 30 or so, we want to continue to hold that position unless the market really starts to go against us. And if we don't have a position on, then we're looking on where would be a good position to see if the market fails. We've got all this volume basically right at the end of the end of those single prints. And so you can kind of see this distribution that's formed down here lower from yesterday. It really is the key to just see, is there going to be a rally over this 4014? If we can get over the 4014, then maybe there's some possible upside. If not, it's probably going to be choppy down here until they kind of, the powers kind of figure it out. And then some more downside. Below us, we have a ton of weak references or previous references that haven't been hit, right? We got a VIB zone down here from 88 to 72, an untouched settle, an untouched VPOC. This is old. Let me get rid of that. And then an overnight VPOC as well that hasn't been touched down at 86.5. There is a little bit of a gap right here, as you can see, back from the 30th. 1 or 2 point gap there, or maybe 1 tick or 2 tick gap right there. That'll be important to pay attention to. And then other than that, I think the best opportunity that we have today is to really just, for the most part, um, be patient, right? A lot of times after an outside move, maybe a lot of people are stuck short. You can see a lot of the volume that came in yesterday kind of at the low. So there may be some stuck shorts here. And if we don't get the straight move down right off the open, that these shorts may cover it and start to rally the market up to this 10-14 area, where we can maybe look to fade. I think patience is going to be in the best order today. Let's see where value starts to develop. We're opening up, lower than balance, and the first thing we do after a break from balance is monitor for continuation. So that is what I will be looking for today. With how the settle is so far from the last, it's kind of unexpected how these internals are going to open up. So we'll have to be paying attention to those as well, because I do think they will give us a little bit of information early on. Morning, Nick. Morning, KC. Morning, Roach. Morning, Tobias. Morning, Liker. Patience will be our best friend. Oh, and then as far as the gamma levels go, toss them up here real quick. You can kind of see, that 4100's big and 4075 is going to be very big. So even if I move down, watch for that 4075 to kind of hold a support possibly. 4100. The M. Little rally right there off the open. Remember, sometimes the market has to take care of old business first. Dow's catching a pretty nice bid here. Lagging itself though. Nasdaq just tagged its low. Bounced right up. See the tick opens up pretty neutral. The breath is open up pretty neutral. Sector boxes are mixed. Remember there was that 4,000 lot traded on the OO there. There's some selling. Nasdaq's making a new low. Catching a bid now. Dow's making a new high. I think Boeing had pretty decent earnings. All right. Dow's reversing here. Bids just got ran over here at the 4100. They need to get back above the 4100. There's a lot of inventory at that 41. Remember, we're just inside yesterday's value area, so kind of expecting it to be choppy like this. They need to offer below 96 here. Here you go. There's the open. Couldn't hold it. A lot of buyers here, it seems like. Wonder is it just profit taking or they actually trying to buy the dip? Yeah, that's Apex. Their historical data is just shit. I mean, you just have to either try to reload it or well, thank you. As that catching a little bit of a bid here. All stars, what's up, bro? About turn calls, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's really good. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of a lot of shorts look like they might be getting stuck under here, like 99.5 to 98. They need to get an offer below that. Gonna be convincing. Took a short in the Dow and a short on CL. Those are closed though. Kind of looking to fade this as well, but these shorts getting stuck just kind of keep deterring. Right. Nasdaq's starting to catch a bid as well. Offer comes back in on the 01. Now let's see. This is their third chance here. Down, like I said, they needed a bid below, or offer below 98 to get any downside. Kind of looks like they just dry up here. Nasdaq trying to come lower now though. Look for the offer here below 98. That's what they need. More sellers get stuck on 99 right there. There's a bid trying to come in here. Yeah, there it is. Their offer's still strong here though. They're trying to offer it lower. They just can't seem to get any movement, really. Buyers are doing a pretty decent job of defending that open. Back to our 6-point opening range here. Nasdaq's breaking the low. I flattened my short on that. So I maybe should have held, but like they can't get below this with a decent offer. Now they go. We're trying to come in at the low here still. People just aren't giving it up yet, and I think maybe there's people, like I said, um, I think there's a decent amount of people from yesterday stuck short right here that were looking for that continuation that got stuck. So those people are probably buying their positions back. So if we can get below this settle, we should liquidate the rest of these people, or at least kind of free that up, as far as they're not nervous anymore, so they're not buying their position back. Basically, until we get on the backside of this settle or on really the upside of Globex high, we're pretty much guaranteed a little bit of choppiness here. Yeah, The Richest Man of Babylon, probably one of the first books I read when I started my reading journey. But it's on YouTube. It's free. It's, I mean, good to reference back and forth. It's an enjoyable read. A really good perspective. It's just a really good book. And if you're not one of those people that saves money, or you're not good at saving money, this can give you some perspective on maybe some tips or something that might be beneficial for you. If you're looking for a book that's going to make you a better trader, there's not one. Only you can do that. Decent sized bids on oil right now. There's a 294 lot oil order sitting on 90 or 76, bigger than the bids on the ES. Ooh, Nasdaq just caught a big bid. Bunch of trap shorts down there, 96. Stretch. Oil's breaking the low. Look at our sector boxes here. I mean, obviously a clear risk off day. X red, healthcare is getting beat down, and you see people kind of, well, consumer discretionary just went red. Staples. One thing we talked about. Where's the internet? One thing we talked about a while ago, or not, I mean, not really that long ago, but if we look here and look at our map and our year-to-date performance, we had talked about what has to happen here, right? We've gotten tech basically holding the market up on this rally, and banking. They said the bank scares was over and all that, but we're seeing Schwab down 39%. Goldman Sachs went negative. Bank of America's gone negative. Wells Fargo's gone negative. JP Morgan is only 2%. Even Berkshire Hathaway only up 4% after basically being, pretty safe for the past year when it was a pretty big down year. And then yesterday you had that First Republic Bank or whatever. One of the other banks went down like 50% yesterday as well. There's a strong bid right there. You notice, like, when you see a strong bid, like there's at least 100 lots traded on every level on the way up right there. I mean, two may be missing, but and then you really see no offers coming in until right now here at the basically right above 4100. Did step up again. Yeah. Nasdaq's below its open, but Nasdaq opened on the high and then traded lower, whereas the ES traded at or opened at the low. Same with the Dow. What were you saying? Yeah, Apple does look strong. Tesla looks like shit. And I even thought about shorting Tesla again yesterday because it rallied up to like 160, and I was like, "Well, that's not a bad spot to get short from. I could do that." Well, I got busy yesterday afternoon. Actually, I wasn't able to be around the computer at lunch. Oh, Dad, are you in here? Are you off today? Oh, you're working. Uh, uh hmm. Right. Yeah. Nice. Nice. And Maya won't have her phone, so if you text her, she won't respond. She's banned from it. She downloaded TikTok. I took it away from her forever, so she's fucked. Nasdaq catching a nice bid here, making a new high back above its open. Nasdaq breaks the open, you probably short that. Doesn't break the open again. It's the Dow is definitely weaker than the Nasdaq here. Shorter than the Nasdaq. Oh, oh yeah, I have to find out. Scratch though. I'm down about 10 handles. Still kind of there it goes. Yeah. Oh, nice. We're back in this area where all these shorts got stuck last time. This 98, 99, 97, 96 area. Shorts got stuck right. And we know from the multiple crosses of the open right early on here is showing indecision in the market, right? We're not seeing strength on either side, and we're seeing relatively, you know, maybe just a offering or a chance for the people that didn't get filled in positions they wanted to get filled at these levels yesterday. As you can look at the volume profile from yesterday, kind of ugly. They're kind of filling that stuff back in here. Yeah, Nasdaq looking a lot stronger than everything else, and so you wonder, can the Nasdaq pull everything up with it? Is it strong enough to do that, or is the Nasdaq going to have to turn around and come back down here? Because ES is almost to the low, the Dow is making a new low, oil's making a new low as well. So it's going bucks in oil today. Let's go. Fixed futures coming off of it a bit. Um, yeah, all the big tech leaders are all looking pretty decent. It's the rest of the market that's looking like a ass. You take a peek at the map here, right? You got Microsoft looking good, Apple's pretty much flat, but Google's looking okay, Meta's looking okay, but looking healthcare, right, looks like shit, and then pretty much every other sector, financials looks like shit as well. Nvidia's doing good, AMD's doing good. Yeah, Microsoft's on a tear. They, and they're I mean, I figured that they were gonna do well because they pretty much had the jump on everybody when it came to AI. You know, that them owning that Chat GPT thing really, it's pretty insane. And you had like a whole campaign from the richest man in the world to try to make a bunch of fear about it just so he could create his own version of it. Offers coming in here 96 this time. Let's see if they can actually push the low. The next level down, right? Obviously, that Globex low is going to be a level, but we're looking to close this gap here. That previous high here is 87.75, the 88 for BIB. Close. All right. I started that book again, The Best Loser, yesterday. Steve, thanks for reminding me about that book. I love how it starts too. I haven't read that book. Probably been 2 years or so, year and a half. little bit of a liquidation there from buyers after that bid up. You can see a little ledge forming here, right at the B high, 4,100 and a half. So if we see a strong bid show up here, and it doesn't, here's a 1/2 here. See a strong bid show up here, and the market can't get higher. That's a fade. More offers coming in here, 97. Gonna get stuck. Push. What's that? Yeah, yeah. Just getting like taking care of everything that happened. Yeah, and then we still have some earnings metas today. Well, so that's the key thing. So there's gonna be a lot of speculators today, that are gonna be playing this play here because, you look at the COT report, institutional money is long for sure, right? So there's gonna be some people today playing this low. They're going to be buying as low as they can, and they're going to be playing it probably against the Globex low, maybe against the previous day's low, trying to just buy as much as they can down here, ready to puke them below. But because it's a if it doesn't continue lower, and yesterday the volume was definitely elevated, but not not too crazy, right? Like nothing out of the ordinary. No like 2 million volume or um. And so what it would kind of signal would be a liquidation, and then a failure to get continuation, especially if we don't close this gap here. A failure to get continuation would be basically a signal that dumb money is they're real stuck. And then if this happens, and it doesn't necessarily have that, like, I mean, it could be on a larger scale, not necessarily today's low, but that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Um, the bounce from here would be straight to this 4208, I think. Um, and I know that's probably contradictory, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. If institutional money is really that long, and the market just dropped 1%, well, You know, if you're planning on getting long and you've got basically an endless bank account, fucking blue light special comes on, you know, you're buying all the socks and t-shirts you can find. The Kmart joke. I don't know if they got Kmart where you're at, Tommy, but blue light specials like the discount stuff in the store. Missing out. It's fucking awesome. Kmart's like one of those stores that has everything. They don't exactly. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. And eight of them break on the way out to the car, but they were cheap. Yeah, I used to love going to Kmart because one, they always had pizza in there. They always had round or Little Caesars pizza. King Tesla. Look at the low on Tesla, 155.03. And 2 weeks ago we were saying 154.81. That's a gimme. I'm gonna tap that one in. I closed early like a bitch. That's true. Oh, dude, that's so fucking. I blame James. He scared me out of it. James started making all this sense to me, and I'm like, you know what? I think you're fucking onto something. And I was like, yeah. I'm not blaming the law. I mean, it was a winning trade. James just he's just so smart that it's hard to not take like what he says like because everything he says is researched. It's not like he's just talking up his ass. So and it probably would have shook me out anyways, even if I held and it's because it bounced yesterday pretty good, or 2 days ago, pretty good, and so I probably would have closed it anyways, even if I did hold it over the weekend. It's tough for me to hold stuff over the weekend though. I'm not a huge fan of it. Well, especially Tesla too, because you know, like Elon's gonna be tweeting over the weekend, so it's not like maybe some Apple news will come out over the weekend, maybe not, but like Elon's definitely gonna tweet something. Oh, my dad's trying to give me a run for my money today. He's up 51 points, guys. Most of his trades are before the market opens. He's gonna fucking give me that I'm the captain now thing. Well, yesterday is kind of a gray one just because he only trades the ES. So I mean, I still beat him yesterday, but yeah, no, he's doing good. Yeah, nice to have some competition back with my dad because he's too old to play basketball now. So oil's catching a bid here, pretty strong bid. Nasdaq still hanging out at what the fuck? Nasdaq still hanging out at its open. Oh yeah, yeah. What was his name? Yeah, he went to work for a crypto firm. Uh, Searching my brain here. Liquidation finally. Yeah, Nasdaq's like kind of kind of confusing people. They don't want to get short with the Nasdaq at the high. Scared of the- Worked out like a charm. As soon as you said the bot sold, I pressed sell on the ES. You're starting to see a separation from this 50 too, telling you that the market's moving lower. Now, to get this confirmation, what we'd like to see if the market is going to actually move lower, see the VWAP move lower, see the volume start to increase down here. See on the profile, volume's still fairly light down here. Yeah, that's going to bother me. I cannot remember his name. Midnight, that was him. Yeah, Midnight, yeah. No, I had sent him a couple of messages on Discord after he got the job and never, I mean, maybe he was just so busy. It's something that England and the United States have in common. They're always bashing on French people. Dow's just getting smoked. Healthcare and financial. I mean, everything's turning red here. And now you're starting to see the weighted AD pick up or get closer to that unweighted. We're below yesterday's low now. The opportunity for responsive buyers to kind of step in and hold this Globex low as excess. And if you look, if you look here, I mean, you can see the response like makes this low and then kind of comes back up all the way to here. So that pullback high was at '07. Right. 2,500 contracts on the low tick there. 2,000, I mean. Tesla had just hit 154.35. I'm gonna start putting trades on and then just locking my computer out. You know what? Can't touch it. That trade would have been just so perfect. Not that it would have been like such a lucrative trade. It would have been, but the like when you like, I'm sure everybody has this happen. You look at a chart and you're like, this is it. You know, and then maybe you don't check the chart for a couple weeks, and you look at the chart again, you're like, motherfucker, I should have traded that. That's pretty much what happened. It's at 40.90 right now. I mean, it dropped like $3 or $2. Hmm. Oh, I did so good today. Oh yeah, work internet. Your work internet shit. You need to switch. You need to switch your phones to Verizon. The Verizon hotspot's actually really good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, where they live at in Florida? Yeah, and typically, like if there's a spot where Verizon's horrible, um then AT&T's really good, and then vice versa. Mavericks? Oh, oh, I don't know if it's called the T-Mobile Arena. Yeah, American Airlines Center. Yeah, that'll be nice. And it'll be cheaper too. Flying out of Fort Worth is pretty like not. It's not that it's cheap, but it's nice. Yeah. I flattened my short there, guys. At 87. I'd been trailing it this whole time. What was the last one? 87. A little, not a bad trade. 4101.75 to 87. Hello. Wait. Good. You say you received a message from a group saying GRT buy around 496, 480, 940 GRT. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not a crypto expert. When it comes to like all those miniature made up coins. They are made up. What did I mean? Hmm, yeah, yeah. I don't. It's it's yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've been just reading more and more about this Sam Bankman-Fried case, and like, you know, he's only getting caught because he's in the United States. So like, what's happening in other countries is probably, probably take your breath away. I got close too early, huh? Offer's still trying to move down here, 84, but some shorts getting stuck there, 84, 3.5 ish. Dang, FRC, it's FRC. That was the bank. Take a peek at this. Got halted again. You can just look at like a 30-day too. I mean, let's look at a daily. They've been getting the fucking taken out behind the shed here. Uh, it's not. Yeah, so they dropped. I mean, they the bank news came out. I think the bank news came out here back in February, where we saw that first bank kind of get smoked to that Swiss bank. Um, and then I mean, they went from $125 stock to $5 stock in this is one, two, three, four, five, basically like 2 months, like a month, basically 2 months. I guess the banking fears aren't necessarily over, like everyone said they were. Decent bid here on the low. See some decent volume move down here. 85, it looks like. And if we look over here, um, switch over to the daily here on the ES. So you can kind of get an idea of where we're at on the bigger picture. You kind of have this equilibrium level here, that 40-50, and the 50 moving average is also that 40-50. So about 30 handles lower. Um, and then right here at this low here is 40-32. That's where that gap starts below. And then, switching back over to the weekly real quick, just to update. Remember, we're watching this level down here, which is 39.8075 on the weekly. That would be a kind of a big break there. And then you've got the weekly moving average 39.70. It just opens up for more downside. So like typically the way that I look at it, right, is I just use like the current week and then whatever the previous high above it is and the previous low. So we broke these lows, so that opens up the downside risk to this low. Break of this low opens up the downside risk to this low. Slow. It's kind of that's good. Yeah, that's kind of just how I look at the brackets there. Like see like because it's such a big range here, you never really know where buyers are going to decide this is a fair price, right? Because that week that we're in now, the low was that 39.80, and the high was 41.41. So it's a pretty large week comparatively to the past month. And I hate to say it, but I think there's a long maybe forming up here. They come back down to this 82 and they don't make a new low. I missed it. Right. Yeah, there was this gap here where it couldn't fill, and then this weak reference here, and then the big gap down here, 200s. But I wouldn't be surprised, like we were talking about earlier, like if institutional money is really long, and they are long, um, and leverage money is short, it would make sense if we get a close above this level that tomorrow we get a big move up or a decent rebound, close above that 93 quarter. Of course, that doesn't matter right now for us day trading, but just something to think about on the bigger perspective, something that I'm kind of my eyes open. It's a little bounce there. Yeah, the Nasdaq's definitely not as weak. Nasdaq's back in its opening range too. And so pretty or kind of an easier setup here, right? We've got a double distribution look on the profile. We've got some single prints, right? Some trapped inventory intraday. If we cruise back up to that upper distribution, that shows value was up, moved lower, rejected, moved back up. And so unless you see a strong offer that pushes the market back low, there might be some responsive longs stepping in the market. You don't want to get too short sighted. Text going green. Hmm. Take a take a peek here, real quick. XLK, which is the tech sector. They opened up on a gap higher. They haven't come close to closing that gap, and they're almost back to their high. Just showing us how strong tech is there. Oil's almost back to its open as well. Actually above where I ordered it this morning. Oil's got a nice W pattern going on if anyone's a W pattern trader. What's that, Tommy? Oh yeah, it's almost back up at 20. VIX futures, yeah, they're up just barely, but they were down about 2%. They're back to flat. Amazon's up 1%. Apple's up like 0.4. Google's up 0.4. Meta's actually down about a 0.5%. Microsoft's down. Netflix up. Nvidia's up 0.25%. Tesla's fucking down 3.5%. Nico Blue, is that a picture of your dog in that in your picture? Killer. Yeah, exactly. Dude, you should. My in-laws' dog, like when because the mailbox is like right outside the front door, and he just like jumps up and like puts his paws like on the groove of the door, and he's probably close to 6 foot when he's standing on his hind legs, and so he's just fucking solid, just staring through this door, barking. You know, like the post office probably pisses on the porch every day. And he's not like a nice dog either. Like, I mean, he's not a mean dog. But like, if he doesn't know you and you try to like come inside his house or like his yard and shit, he'll fucking not just like one of those dogs who barks a lot and then smells you and it's like, oh okay. Like, no, I'm gonna bite you first and then see how you react from that. Yeah, he's like a wolf, and he knows he's big too, so he's kind of a bully. He's a German Shepherd, but I mean, I think he's oh yeah, yeah, dude, their dog too, especially because winter was so short. He like grew his winter coat, and now he's shedding it because it's been, well, except for this week, it's actually been kind of warm here, and they were brushing him. Yeah, they're filled up like fucking garbage bag. Shit. So we got a mechanical C high, basically, right to the M low, right to the T1 low. We had a little look back in a previous area that we had valued, and then kind of an escape from it. Like some more shorts got stuck on 88 there. Oh, you had a Bernese Mountain Dog? That's like comparable to those Caucasian Shepherds. This is where those offers got stuck last time. Let's see if they can push it through. Got some trap buyers trying to buy the 89 here. Offers trying to move in below that, those trap buyers, but not really getting any push down. Looks like they got stuck again on 88. I watch for a rebid to come in here. For bids to start piling in. And they'll be targeting this, the settle or the close of the single. 42 goes down tick there. You got two of them. Yeah, those are what, they get over 100 pounds for sure. These are the dogs that they use in the Russian prison right here. Called a Caucasian Shepherd dog. Caucasian Asian Shepherd. And look how big they are. It's kind of what Warden looks like. He's like this big. He's not as puffy on the backside of him, but he's like this is how his head looks. And look how big this fucking dog is. Big as a park bench. They use him in the Russian prisons. They're like, yeah, run if you want. Good luck. Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like as a fucking bear. They said like if you have one of those at your home, you can't have any other pets because it will kill them because it gets jealous and it wants to be your only pet. Oh, I'm sure that's probably it's probably that dog. Oh, American Akitas too. Yeah, those are big ones. Just imagine the feed for those dogs. The American Akitas were the bear hunting dogs. Yeah, they're probably like 100, Yeah, 110 pounds. My in-laws' dog Warden weighs like 128 last time we checked it. X starting to go negative here is the Nasdaq rally didn't quite take them above the open. You just haven't seen any pushback. So you know what we want to see here to get short from these lower levels is we want to see an offer come in below the 88, right? They keep coming down to that 88, keep getting stuck. The bid on 89 keeps holding. We're seeing a rebid here. There is some opportunity here to fade the close of these single prints, um, with your stop being like 97 or and as long as it, I mean, let's say you get short here, if it doesn't get back down below 88, you really got to bail because then it's just more people getting short and stuck short. It's funny as people buy dogs, they want them to bark, and for me, like when I was a kid, I had a black lab, and he never barked. It was just his personality. He just didn't bark. I loved that. Yeah, my in-laws dog, he's only barking at like people that are coming to the front door. Welcome to my life. Fucking neighbor has those two Saint Bernards and a fucking Rottweiler, and they just sit on that deck and fucking bark at squirrels and birds and shit. It's like, ah, shut the fuck up. Yeah, or like, because my wife works the night shift, so like middle of like right now she's sleeping. So if they start fucking barking, that shit wake her up. You know what they say, happy wife, happy life. So I'll have to go shoot them with the salt gun. I feel bad for him. He works all the time. Like he's this guy. His name is Jay. He runs a mechanic shop, like a car mechanic shop. But he's at work. Fucking, he leaves before I leave to take the kids for school, and then he gets back. You know, like by the time I get back from jitsu, so he's working all day. His kid stays home pretty much all day, but she doesn't do or they don't do shit. Exactly. Silent killer. I talk to my dog like, well, I talk to my in-laws dog as like a like it's just a person too. And then he responds pretty well to that. Apple's making a new high, and tech bounced pretty decent there. You see tech go back positive here. They still failed to get below that 88 there. Nasdaq's puking here. Okay. Offer's definitely trying to come in here. Maybe we getting stuck. Yeah, looks like it might be right there on the 90, 89. Nope. Nasdaq almost back to its open. Gonna close these singles. They're closed. More shorts trying to offer this 92 half here. That 195 coming in. That might have been a short-lived little bid. Oh, that's dope. What's it? Is it you downloaded it or is it on the? Oh, okay. I get that. So as this comes back down towards this 88 level, you're gonna want to be watching, see is there gonna be continuation or are they gonna get an offer below? Um, really, so 89.75 is where they kind of got trapped last time down here. We got D period in 5 minutes as well. Really, no change in the auction yet, right? We can't really say there's change. We did move up off of the low, 10 handles or so. But we're still inside the previous bar's range. So we don't necessarily want to be getting ahead of ourselves too much as far as like, oh, the downside's fucking over. still want to maintain our kind of neutral bias here as we're back inside yesterday's range. We're back above the 50, right? Showing us that trend is obviously trading sideways. When we did trade lower, the VWAP did trade a little bit lower. It was 41.01 when we before the break. Now it's 48.96, so did get a little bit lower there, but nothing really too crazy. Bids are trying to step up here. This 92.75. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I'll be right back. D period opens up. Break of the C high. Starting to see value move back higher here. At the epoch, basically right at the low of that distribution. Nasdaq's at its high opening range high for its like 10-minute high. Decent bids stepping up all through here, right? XLK almost about to break its high of day. Another 10 cents. Nasdaq looking to break its high of day as well. Weighted AD almost back to even. Did you say TJ? Yeah. Yeah, it's almost kind of like extreme imbalance today. I feel like just are we going to balance, overlapping, or are we going to balance overlapping to lower? That looks pretty strong. Didn't quite get up to that high though. Trying to make another go for it here. We definitely have some trap shorts. Like just by looking at this profile here on the right side, you could see, pretty heavy selling here, pretty heavy selling here, on the way up, and then a little bit of a liquidation here. So there's probably some trap shorts down here still. They can't get back below 95. That could be our ticket to be, or like maybe our flip zone there. If market doesn't get back below here, we don't really want to sell. See the distributions separated here, volume distribution. Dow's catching a bid here, pretty good bid as well. This level 75. Nasdaq took a peek back towards its open and then bounced. Even Tesla's trying to come back. Apple looks real strong. Nasdaq's at the high almost. We'll use that 95 level as our pivot, basically, now. Now we at least know. If, if there's no selling below 95, then we got to be careful being short inside this distribution from yesterday's range. You're seeing kind of a similar pattern here as well. Um, you see a bunch of selling here, weak spot here, probably some stuck shorts below the 00 now too. You're seeing that bid try to step up above. And typically when bids step up, he's within like a point of the price, and you could see a 200 lot order. 200 of those are supposedly one order. Probably, probably actually looking to buy the market. Strength there. XLK just broke its high. That alert that we said earlier. Look at all the sector boxes almost going green here. Weighted AD's trying to go green. Tick has been pretty strong. And we should have fucking held that. I was trying to make a new high. Nasdaq's catching the bid. More sellers might have just gotten stuck here on the O2. Seeing a lot of offering coming in here on the O2. Where there's probably some stuck shorts below the OO. So if they don't auction back below the OO, then going for continuation here. Maybe some buyers stuck on the Nasdaq there. Bid's still trying to hold this double O here. Decent bid steps up on the 175. Protected again. Shorts got stuck right there on that 175. 150, 175 there. More bids step in on the 3. Nasdaq's making a new high. These bids got Notice the tick here too, just holding above the 0 line, not even making a move towards it. Weighted AD's gone positive. Most of the sector boxes besides healthcare have gone green. Market's getting real slow. We're at yesterday's point of control. Apple's trying to make a new high. Nasdaq's almost there. Dow's still looking stronger for sure. See these stuck shorts here on the 2 quarter. You know, if they just can't get back below. Kids are gonna run them. Nasdaq's popping. Sort of Paparuski there. If they can get to that last there, and then they're really looking for. I mean, I'm watching for this 41.12 here. If there's an offer there, that overnight point of control. If you are long, I'd move my stop up to the A high. Maybe even this O2, right? If you want to be a little bit less aggressive, just in case. They'd step back up there on the 4. This bid at 4. It's a little bit of a liquidation there, right? The buyer's trying to get it going, trying to get it going. They kind of got stuck on the 6. Remember, sellers are still stuck below the 4,100. And if they can't get back below 4,100, they just look like they keep getting stuck right here. They need a big offer or liquidation, really. You kind of see where, even on the overall volume profile, stuck shorts down here below 4,100, volume steps up and holds here. The VIX is puking here too, puked right off of basically like 19.5 again, down to 8. Got all this volume that comes in there, like turns red even. Now we're getting some Brad prints right below us. Down to really just down this B high here, which is 4100. We've got 4195 we said, right? 4100. Maybe a little bit higher. Like I like that 9, 10, like here this week spot's like 11 half. Um, I definitely think there's some opportunity here for short. It just doesn't look like any sellers are awake right now. But I wouldn't put a liquidation outside of the realm of possibilities. Like to get them like a nice liquidation, get some more short term shorts piling in. Because I still think like that COT report's just so long that if we close above this low, I think everyone that's buying today, even when they bought here, I think if we're getting closer to the end of the day and we're going to be closing above that low, that they're going to be holding that long um, into the overnight and just hold it against that low or probably this low. Um, of course, COT report's a little bit delayed, and yesterday I think they liquidated a decent amount of it, but it makes sense to sell it so they can buy it lower because they did also add to their long up here on the 17th as well. So it's not a huge amount like they did on the 11th. I might be done trading for today. So still active with singles. Yeah, it failed right at it. You're just yeah. It's I mean, you're just seeing a pretty decent like intraday reversal. Um, sometimes you just don't want to fight like what's going on until you start to see some type of change. And a break of 4100 would be the first sign of change. And so then even if we break 4100 and catch a nice bid, then there'd be some opportunity to fade level, I think. But fading like here against the D high is really just kind of ran. Be better off waiting until up here. You did get a tick below zero that last 5 minute bar, but then pops kind of back up. It never really got below 4100. Healthcare was down like over 1%, I think, earlier, and now down just only 0.3. A little bit of downside here now, though. If you, yeah, yeah, the key will be to see if you get if you get the breach of the 4100. Notice the tempo, and if tempo picks up and you start to see some good offers come in, you could definitely target that settle. That D low is a mechanical low, so I think it could be the target if they can kind of breach this 4100. Right to the 4100 stop. Nice. Yeah, I think a lot of stuck shorts got stuck down here around this like 84, 86. Or we were talking about getting long that 82 never came back to us and really never came back at all. Um, Kind of ran up, traded sideways around this 89 for a little bit, and then traded back up. So next level of like convenience, I guess, would be like five. Struggling at the 4100 though. Now we maybe have some trap long inventory here. See how profile pattern, get the weak spot, volume starting to come in. Not a lot of buyers showing up, but the market's not going down. A little absorption here. But some stuck longs also that may be looking at. Nasdaq's catching a bid as well. Oil still looks strong too. bids showing up there at the 2.5. More bids trying to pump up here. You didn't really see any offers come out, or like on that little. I mean, some offers came out like 4,100, but other than that, no real offers coming out up here. That kind of makes me think we're gonna go down. Bids are still. Dow's catching a bid here. Weighted AD is pretty neutral. Oh yeah. Yeah, like a little bit of absorption up there. You're seeing pretty strong bids come in, but no real sizable offers. Weighted AD is moving up here. Trying to make a new high of day as well. Yeah. You can see tech almost up 50%. The Dow's almost back to its open here. You definitely got the Nasdaq leading, and the ES as well. Dow playing a little bit. And the dreaded poor high again. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna call it here. Starting to get pretty slow. Still the same plan kind of remains here. I think that there's still some offering opportunity up here below this 14 area. If the market gets above that 14 area, there's some chance that some people that are short from above these single prints start to liquidate and start to come in. We definitely don't want to rule out the possibility that this is kind of just a cleanup of all this weak structure, right? We closed that weak gap now back in, still holding this mechanical reference here, and then the bigger gap below. Um, the market has, for the most part, see if we can do this. Studies. Make this instead of a 7-day. Make it visible. Okay, we'll just make it 30 days. So we can kind of see here, most of the volume is still up here around that 4150. Decent little volume ledge up here, 4128-ish. So maybe some rejection off of that level. That's not yesterday's point of control, but decent volume area in the upper distribution point of control. So that could be the target, and then maybe filling in of this weaker volume down here, depending upon kind of what happens. We're starting to put in a poor high here, which is a pretty weak look. Maybe buyers might be running out. And like we talked about for the downside, basically you need to get below 4100 with some decent offers, and then that your target would be the settle, and that would be key because that would be below 95, where we know that there's a bunch of stuck shorts, intraday stuck shorts. So um, if you do get the break and then it doesn't get below that 95, right? Let's say it comes down here, stops like 96, something like that, or maybe it doesn't hang out below 95 enough, doesn't get below the settle. That's you got the nice trade. Just take your profits and look for another spot. Inside this lower distribution, we're still pretty choppy for the most part. Got a nice move up to that 4100, and we've been basically just kind of sitting at this level for a while now. Starting to get a little bit choppy. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if we do get a pop, there's going to be decent opportunity to maybe fade from up here. If it gets above that, pulls back, I think your target up is at 30. And then below, really they're just looking to kind of get back to where they're stuck from. We know they're stuck from 90. We know they're stuck down here from like the 80s as well. And so they want to get that continuation. But the only mechanical reference on the low is this D low. So even a cleanup of that D low could still bring the market up. And then also I'm still looking at like the COT, seeing that managed money is long, and that could really be kind of a sign, so to speak, that they are going to hold this long, or that they are buying this dip. They were just waiting for a bigger dip to buy instead of buying in this balance. They're letting people think that they're buying the dip, and they actually liquidated and then bought the actual dip. So yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure that you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.